What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. When it comes down to sub-ohm tanks, the best flavor you are gonna get from a sub-ohm tank these days is from the ones with replaceable mesh coil heads. Mesh really changed the game for tanks with replacement coil heads from the perspective of both flavor and vapor density. So today, we are going to take a look at a new one from a new company called Fogger, and the tank we are going to look at today is called Notus. It not only uses mesh coil heads but also brings a new and different style of airflow, which they call 360 degrees airflow system. Popping a lid out of this very interesting can, we find a plastic tray inside the can, and opening this plastic tray we find the Fogger tank, this one in black. The tank already comes with a bubble tank, but they still provide a spare bubble tank. They also provide a few extra O-rings and an extra coil head, but just a simple coil head, nothing too fancy. And last but not least, the user manual as well. The tank is a pretty simple tank, super simple design look-wise. There's not much branding around, not even on the base. The only branding you're gonna find is the name of the tank and located on the top section, which will hold any 510 drip tips, and the drip tip included is also a Delrin 510 drip tip. The top fill section is also the top fill port, a very convenient slidey one. So once you locate the little arrow that tells you where to push, the top fill port will expose a single, wide, but rather small fill port, top fill port, which is sealed with a sealing gasket above. This slidey top fill port is rather stiff when new, but does get more loose with prolonged usage. The tank is an overall very simple type of thing, right? Well, wrong. The airflow on the bottom is actually quite interesting. The airflow is what they call a 360 degrees airflow. There's no visible openings or anything. Only thing visible is the gap between the ring and the tank, and to adjust the airflow we simply only have to spin the airflow adjustment ring. It will increase or decrease the gap, therefore increase or decrease the amount of airflow going in. Unscrewing the base from the tank will let you screw and unscrew the coil head, replace the coil head, but also replace the glass tank. And unscrewing the coil from the base, we can see, or actually barely see, the airflow entries all around the base. Really clever indeed. But even though the point of entry for the airflow is done all around in almost 360 degrees, the point where the airflow enters the coil is still from the bottom of the coil, and pretty much the same as if you use a Smoke Baby Beast tank, for example. As a matter of fact, these coils are the same style, same size and compatible. So you can actually use Smoke Baby Beast version 1 coils in here, or use these coils on a Smoke Baby Beast tank, but you can also use others of the same style, much like the Vaporesso NRG style coils. One of the coils provided is just a very simple coil head. They call it an F4, and it is a 0.4 ohm coil head rated to operate between 40 and 80 watts. Inside we can see it is indeed a super simple dual wrap round wire coil head, and no mention as to which material is being used for the coil. The other coil head, which is the main star of the show, is a 0.2 ohm mesh coil head rated to work between 40 and 80 watts as well, but inside we can see it is using real mesh and cotton as wicking material too. And once again, same thing with this coil, there's no mention as to which material is being used for the coil inside of the coil head. I'm gonna be using the mesh coil head because that's the start of the show, even though I will also test the other one and let you know how it compares. No matter the coil you want to use, by the way, always prime the coil first before you use it when it's new. By the way, the liquid I'm using today is Gerudo by Yummy Vapor, which is a very surprisingly delicious caramelized roasted Japanese sweet potato flavor, which they call Satsuma in Japan. Who would guess a potatoy liquid would be so sweet and so good? To fill and refill the tank is easy. Just locate the little arrow, which by the way should be painted or etched in a different color, because as it is a bit hard to see. Once you understand where to push, simply push the top fill port open and fill the tank, fill it and close the top fill port back in the end. That's it, that's all that is to it. And because they actually told me this tank was specially designed to be used on the drag version 2 mod, That's what I'm gonna do and try to understand exactly why that is. Alright, the mesh coil inside, by the way, at 80 watts on the drag version 2, which is the maximum rated wattage for this coil head. Let's chain vape it. Whoo, it just got cloudy in here. It vapes and it does also keep up really well at the maximum recommended wattage of 80 watts indeed. The Fogger Notus Tank is available in places like Kakuk Sig, only in black and silver, and I'm mentioning Kakuk because I noticed they are running special promos for their 6th anniversary and may be worth you to check out, but the price for the tank and any other product for that matter over at Kakuk is only revealed when you register an account with them, and I'm assuming the price will be different depending on the region you live and the region you register on your account. So if you want to know the price they are selling the Notus for, you are gonna have to register an account with them, but since they are running special promos, it might be worth. Both coils included are rated the same as far as wattage, and they do work really well at the rated wattages, but the mesh coil is so much better in flavor. There's really no comparison possible. And I'm gonna say they should have included duplicates, the same mesh coil, but 2 of the same instead of the other one. That's just my opinion. I'm actually gonna go as far as saying the flavor I get from these mesh coil heads is very close to my favorite Falcon and Falcon King tanks once it's past the break-in time. Yeah, with the mesh coil head I found it has a short but funky tasting break-in period of about 10 puffs or so, but once it goes away the flavor is just insane. You just have to get past that funky break-in period these coils have. The flavor, density of the vape, really good indeed, which are the characteristics of any good mesh coil heads. And these, disregarding the funky break-in time, these didn't let me down so far. The airflow is also pretty neat. This style of airflow is indeed noticeably quieter and smoother when we consider other super airy tanks out there like this one is, and doesn't really matter the airflow setting, it is always smooth all across the board. Really nice idea. The only downside with this style of airflow ring is the fact that oftentimes it gets stuck, either open or closed, and the absence of a knurled area below makes it so if you want to switch the coil head, you have to raise the ring all the way up to get, well, or lower the ring all the way down. You get it. You have to either lower or raise the ring all the way up or all the way down to be able to unscrew the base from the tank or screw the base back into the tank and make sure the base is screwed tight. So it would definitely benefit of some knurling underneath, but underneath there's really not much to grab anyway. They also mentioned it to me that this tank was specially designed to work on the drag version 2. I can't quite figure why. Maybe because their coil was fine-tuned for the fit modes the Drag 2 has built in. Anyway, if you want to know more about those fit modes and what they really provide with charts and everything, check out my full review of the Drag 2 and Drag 2 Mini right here. So, the looks are not too bad. It is solidly machined and the paint quality good too. It does come with 2 bubble tanks, enough spares, 2 coil heads, and an interestingly new design airflow. Checking their website, I found they actually have an insane variety of different coils. It has a convenient top fill port. It is compatible with 510 drip tips. It is compatible with Smoke Baby Beast version 1 coil heads, and the flavor with the mesh coil head included is quite phenomenal. On the downside, the top fill port is just too loose, and oftentimes it just opens on its own, especially if you carry the tank inside of your pocket. And if this top fill section moves even just a bit, air will get in and the tank will leak. It leaked on me once because the top fill port did open just a bit. Also, while we are still talking about cons or downsides and still about the top fill port, due to the way the top fill port is designed, there's always liquid around when you open and close. The airflow ring, even though a nice design, does get stuck sometimes. And last but not least, the material each coil is made of isn't stated, and that's a con. We should know the material these coils are made of. If I was to rate this guy, I would give it a B-, maybe a B+, if the top fill part was a little bit more secure and the coils didn't have a funky break-in time. Alright, I'm done. Stay sexy and vape on.